On day 2, on this 4 session workshop, we are going to learn something extremely important that can make your interview or break your interview. And that is body language. How we should speak, how our hand movement should be, what are the things that you are communicating without knowing subconsciously. And of course, how to start answering questions and how to avoid a few mistakes. So, let's get started. First and foremost rule of paying attention in an interview is to have your back straight. हम्म? हमारी कमर एकदम सीधी होनी चाहिए. So when I say back straight, your feet should be firmly planted on the ground, and you should not really be taking the support of your chair that is over here, but we should be just a centimeter away from the back support of the chair. Hmm? And keeping the back straight is the first and foremost indication to the panelist that we are interested, we are paying attention. Now, there is something that is very, very natural and common to body language in human beings, and that is leaning forward when we are interested in something. Hmm? We can all observe this in a coffee shop where we can see a girlfriend and boyfriend leaning forward towards each other when they are interested in what they have to say, isn't it? So pay attention to this one body language gesture. When we occasionally, when the question is being asked and when we lean forward, not when answering, when listening, when listening to a question, we lean forward, it indicates our interest. It indicates that we are interested in having the conversation with the panel member. So, slightly is only a 5-degree lean or a 10-degree lean forward. It is not a 15 or a 30-degree lean. All right, just slightly. Next, when we are answering questions, and I tell you, my friends, this one technique made a student get selected in an interview. I was visiting a college named as ITM in our city, and where I have taken a few other interview skill sessions before. And when this one technique was taught to the student actually walked up to me and said, "Thank you, sir, for this one singular technique. It helped me crack my interview." And what is this technique I'm talking about? Taking a small pause before answering questions. See, in an interview, we are nervous. In an interview, we are excited. We are hyperactive. If we know the answer, we are so excited, we immediately jump on answering the question. We blurt out the answer, and there is a high tendency, probability, that the answer may be silly. So, our brain needs about 3 seconds to collect the thoughts and then answer. We must take a pause. There is a rule called as the 4000 rule. 4000 is counting 1000, 2000, 3000, and 4000. So when we count 4000, it's a 3 second pause. It's a 3 to 4 second pause, and it gives your brain time to think. It will get you respect in return from the panel members. The panel members will think, ah, look at this student. Oh, the student is thinking and answering. The student is not hurrying up. The student is calm. The student is composed. Hmm? The student takes time to answer 3 seconds. It's a respectful gesture. Moreover, if ever you are in a stress interview, which are rare nowadays, stress interviews are rare, but if you are in a stress interview, this will break the momentum of the stress interviewer. That person is bombarding you with questions and you are taking 3 seconds to answer. It will make the other person break their momentum, and that is an added advantage to you. This one single thing got a student and cleared in the TCS interview. Right now, let's move forward. Look at this weird photograph on the screen. Observe the structure of the body all distorted. You know what this is? This is the scientific representation of a human as the brain sees it. Our eyes see a normal human being, but when the signal hits the brain, it is interpreted like this. This is the image. It is known as the homunculus. Homonculus. Research this independently at your own time. But these have two very important messages to share. If anybody looks at us, which are the highest, biggest areas that are magnified in the brain? The mouth and the hands. And this is the most significant part of human communication. 55% of communication is body language, and 7% is words. The rest is tone, 38%. The point here is how we use our hands in an interview has a lot of role to play. It is 50% of 55%. That is nearly 25% of communication depending on your use of hands. So, my friends, we must be extra careful how we are representing our thoughts, our points with our hands. If you see, I am continuously moving my hands across the screen with all of you. Hmm? Now, there should be no finger pointing gestures. I'm trying to make a point. This is the only thing that is true. So, there should not be any finger pointing gestures coming out from us. How should we be speaking in an interview? Our hands should be open handed movements, the palms should be visible, the four fingers should preferably be joined, the thumb can be a little loose, that is completely all right. And when we gesture, they should, we should be gesturing like this, we should be making points like this. Open handed movements are representative of honesty, truthfulness, welcome, and no, not a threat. I am not a threat to you. So, when we use open handed gestures, they mean we are being honest, we are being truthful. Use open handed gestures as far as possible in interviews. Hands should not be closed. I will very soon talk about this. Hmm? The hands, we should never cross our arms like this. Hmm? And we should never cross our legs in an interview also. All right. This gesture, if we cross our arms and legs, it basically indicates that we are not wishing to communicate with them. We are closing ourselves off. So don't let this gesture take place. If we should not be closing our arms and legs, how should we then position ourselves? We should position ourselves like this. The feet should be firmly planted on the ground. Hmm? The hands should be on the armrests of the chair. Our body should be completely visible and open in an interview. Now, there are a few mistakes that we make over here also. See, when we are talking, we use open handed movements. When we are not talking, our hands come together like this. Hmm? Like this. We grip the armrests of the chair tightly out of nervousness. We start fidgeting with our finger ring, we start fidgeting with our nails, we start playing with our hair. All these gestures are taking place without us knowing. I guarantee you, my friends, when I have taken more than 300 student interviews so far, and very few, any 5%, maybe only 15 students, only 15, 285 students always are making nervous gestures. They are playing with their hands. One student started cracking his knuckles. They started cracking their knuckles. When answering, immediately all these body language signals are coming out. And we need to be careful about it. What do we do? One very simple technique is this. Hold a pen, not like this, not like this, in the writing position. Hmm? It has to be in the writing position as you would write something. See, what is happening because of holding it in the writing position is we cannot play with the pen like this anymore. Okay? We cannot play with the pen, it doesn't move. We cannot hold our hands together like this. It is impossible to play with the two hands with the pen in the hand. And most importantly, please don't go into the interview with a clicker pen. Huh? There should be no clicking noise coming out of the pen. Correct? This will break the nervousness that you have inside. And yesterday again, very rarely this happens. Two students came up to me and said that, sir, this holding a pen, my nervousness went away, I got selected. This gentleman attributes, the student attributes his selection in a company to this one single thing, holding the pen in the interview. Because his nervousness went away, his body language gestures became calm. There was no need for him anymore to worry about body language. इतनी simple सी बात है. It is so simple. Writing position so that you don't play with it and make nervous gestures. Hands don't come together and there is no clicker. Remember, these simple things may make or break the interview. Now, we spin. If there is a swivel chair, look at this. Look at you can't see my chair, of course, but you can see me moving like this. Students, when they don't have a stationary chair, usually what happens is they move like this. They are swiveling in their chair while answering. Be very careful, my friends. This should not happen. It is very subconscious. With swivel chairs, please pay extra attention that this does not happen with us. And I assure you, 50% of students do this. They don't even know they are doing this. That is the problem. Be careful. Now, the next thing we will take a look at are these gestures, one after another. Now, the first one is grooming for men, for boys. Be careful, it is okay to have a beard, but it should be groomed, it should be trimmed. The hair should not be sticking out at all angles. Next, be careful not to hold the hands like this. The hand should not be coming together like this or like this. Basically, as I said before, the hand should not be touching each other. Your body language should be open. Of course, the hand should not be reaching the face by any chance. I have seen students bite their nails in an interview. While answering, while thinking about an answer, the natural nail biting starts happening. Be careful. Now, look at the blue boxes. There are two blue boxes with the lady. The hands in the first one on the left hand side, the hands are within the blue box. On the right hand side, the hands are outside the blue box. Even you will see my hands have gone outside the frame right now. So, the point is this, our hand should be within the blue box so that the audience, the panel members feel we are in control. If our hands are all the time going out of the blue box, the panel members will feel we are not in control. So ensure there is a frame on imaginary frame that you create within which your hand movements operate. Now look at the two women sitting here crossed from each other, looking away. These are body language signals of I don't want to be with you. So be very, very careful. Your body should not be turned at an angle from the panel members like this. You should not be crossing yourself away off from them or even looking away. Now, look at these gestures. The first one, pulling at the collar, trying to get comfortable, is the gesture of deceit. Deceit. झूठ बोला पकड़ा गया. I lied about something, I got caught. The other two gestures, touching the nose, covering the mouth, they are also gestures of lying. I wanted to hide something, I wanted to conceal something, and I said it. I said something else. So the point of the whole story is the body language cannot lie. The body doesn't have capability to lie. Our mouth has the capability to lie. As a rule, we should be honest in an interview. We should never ever lie because our body language will give us away. Hmm? We won't even know we are making these gestures, but the panelist will know that this student has tried to hide something. You may or may not be lying, but we did not give the entire truth. Now, other gestures like this. This is I'm bored. I'm leaning back, I'm bored. Not good. So the hands, the palm should never come and touch the face. Look at Hillary Clinton. She is doing this. Now the one finger on the chin. This is critical analysis. I'm thinking carefully. In a way, I'm judging you. So only the panel members can do this to us. We cannot hold our chin on our finger. And this one, the pain in the neck. Hmm? What a pain in the neck it is. Do not touch our face in an interview. And it is very difficult, my friends. In COVID, there was an advisory not to touch our face, isn't it? How many times did you calculate not to get infected? How many times we were touching our face? I calculated one day on across the day an average, and this is research done on human beings. On an average, a normal average human person touches their face 19 to 23 times in 1 hour. In 1 hour, 19 to 23 times we touch our face. So it is not easy. It is subconscious, but please, in an interview, try to avoid this subconscious behavior because we don't know what our body is going to communicate to the panel members. Hmm? Avoid touching the face. Simple. Now, look at what Elon Musk is doing. Elon Musk is holding there two fingers and a thumb like this on the chin and looking down. The eyes are kind of looking downwards. This is deep thinking. I am deeply thinking about the question asked by the panel members. This is okay. This gesture is okay. However, we need to realize that once we start touching our face, there is no stopping us. Then there will be all sorts of gestures. There will be all sorts of gestures coming out from us. So, as far as possible, avoid it. Now, eye contact is of prime importance in an interview. We need to take care of two things. First is we should look at the panel members. If there are three panel members with us, when we are answering a question, whichever panel member has asked the question first, we should answer to that panel member for around 10-15 seconds. Talk to them, look at them for 10-15 seconds. Then, while continuing the answer, look at the second panel member for 10-15 seconds, and then turn your gaze to look at the third panel member for 10-15 seconds, and keep on shifting your eye contact across all the panel members for 10-15 seconds, 10-15 seconds. Now, eye contact we must maintain doesn't mean you keep staring at that all the time. Look away occasionally, but don't look away like this. Hmm? Break eye contact, glance down, and now and then keep shifting your eye contact across the panel members. That is good practice. We should not be continuously staring at them. Next, you will see this in the panel members, and the panel members will see this inside you. Many times there will be this behavior of turning away the head. We will look down to one side while listening, while not answering. We'll turn away our head while thinking, and that is a classic sign of doubt, suspicion. It will be very difficult for the panel members to trust you on the answers you give if you have turned away your head like the two images shown on the screen. Now, see, if you are turning away your head, don't turn it completely away. It's okay to look down at one side, little bit downward eye looking movements like this at one side is enough to think about it. But don't turn your head away like this. All right? Be careful. Next. This is natural to human beings. I am sure from all the students who are here right now, some of your heads are tilted like this. I know for sure. I guarantee it. Some of our heads are tilted like this. Now, what does it mean? It means that the head tilt is meant for listening. Hmm? People are listening. Hmm? We must not tilt our head all the way like this. It should be slightly, just slightly, a head tilt. When we carry the folder in our hands, sometimes we make a mistake of holding the folder horizontal to us when we walk into the room, or we hold it across our chest like this. Both of them are incorrect gestures. We must hold it at an angle, maybe at our side or diagonally tilted like the photographs in the screen. Now, let's talk about your energy and commitment. What does an interviewer want from you? An interviewer wants your energy, an interviewer wants your commitment. They want to see you are excited to join the company. To display the right amount of energy and not overexcitement. Not overexcitement. What we need to do is charge ourselves up before the interview begins. Hmm? Maybe somewhere outside the interview where nobody is watching you, we must do a few energetic actions. This person on the screen, will see the video. This person on the screen is Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins is the world's best self development expert today. Now, before he walks onto the stage, look at his energy. He is energizing himself. He's jumping on a trampoline right before, right before he actually walks on the stage. After he, climbs the stairs, he does a power move. Observe the power move. All right.
I'll be weird, I'll be bizarre, I'll seem gross. I'll use the science of taboo language, because words have the power to pierce the conscious mind. Look, I'll do whatever the effort it takes to break the pattern so you can reclaim who you really are.
Okay, I believe that the video clip was not completely visible. Don't worry about it. The point is, our body language changes how we feel about ourselves. In the word emotion, the word motion is hidden inside. Hmm? Please write down a statement in your notebooks. Motion creates emotion. Hmm? Emotion is created by motion. Write down the statement. Motion creates emotion. Now, we must never think from now on that you don't have control over your emotions. See, if you charge yourself up, if you energize yourself, your emotions will change depending on your body language. So, before walking into an interview, we must create a secret ritual for ourselves. Hmm? We must have a secret method of charging ourselves before walking into the interview that gives us the right amount of energy and shows the commitment to the panelists. Now, that doesn't mean you exercise before the interview, okay? Uh, when we enter the room, what is necessary is a gentle smile on our face, because this is something everybody across the world understands. It's the universal language. Hmm? The head nod. When we are listening, when we are listening to a conversation, we must nod our head slowly and slightly, not all the time, every 45 seconds when you listen to the panel members, hmm, once or twice, slowly. This indicates three things to the panel members: you are listening, you are paying attention, and you are understanding what the panel member is saying. It is a respectful gesture. A head nod is a gesture of respect. So, all these things build up to creating a secret ritual before you enter the interview room. Remember, there are a few power poses that increase your confidence. Now, these are poses of arrogance in front of other people. Hmm? They would feel as if we are behaving with attitude, as if we are the boss, but it will give you a boost of small confidence. So, this should not be done in front of other people, this should be done when you are alone before entering the meeting room. Especially be careful about these poses, the submissive poses. Sir jhukana, bending down your head, uh, joining the legs very closely, the hands are joined, clasped, or like this. Be very careful about these poses because they will kill your confidence. Hmm? So, crossing your legs, all these gestures, submissive gestures, should never be done before entering an interview room. Now, let us enter into the territory of answering questions effectively. Today is part one. We will be covering a few basic questions series, and the next week after Diwali, I believe 14th November, will be part two, where we cover a few other series of questions. The first and foremost thing you must be aware of is every answer in an interview should be emphasizing how your skills are employable. How are you employable? Hmm? They don't want people who are not smart. They want people who have skills. Which kind of skills we will talk about later on. See, majority of pharmaceutical skills are niche and they are already taught in your education. But then there are behavioral skills that we must have, isn't it? So, what kind of behavioral skills we must demonstrate is on day 4. We will be covering it on day 4. The point of the matter is every answer is not about you, it is about how you are employable. So, the singular responsibility of a student in an interview is to differentiate himself or herself from the other students. There must be, through our life experiences and stories, we very commonly say that we are all unique human beings, we are all different human beings, we have unique strengths and talents. So, this is the moment in an interview where we demonstrate that unique skill or talent. Please answer this question as your homework today. Till we meet next time, I wish to have this answer from the students. What can you and only you do? Hmm? Try to differentiate yourself in your skills, your talents, and first find out a differentiator. And then we will learn about how to represent your differentiator to the panel members. Now, if you differentiate yourself, we get directly selected. The reason is this: every day throughout 50 students, every single day they are interviewing like 50 students, and they are tired, of hearing the same answer, of hearing the same skill set, of hearing all the students are equal, all the students are the same. So why would they select you over somebody else? We must be different from others in some skill, in some way, some talent, some capability. Should be far better than others like Usain Bolt in this picture over here, right? Now, to differentiate ourselves, we must first and foremost discover our passions and our talents. That spark in us, what makes our heartbeat faster. And when this comes out in the form of a story, it hits the jackpot. We get selected like this. So I ask students many times questions like this. Tell me something about yourself. Tell me what you are good at. Tell me what you are passionate about. What is your talent? And they shine. They simply become passionate. They were, before this question comes in the interview, they are answering normally, they are answering okay, slowly, nervously, they are worried how they'll perform, and all the answers are normal and no differentiator. The moment I ask them, what are you good at, what is your passion, what are you really interested in, their heart opens up, their facial gestures change, their body movement, body languages change, all those nervous gestures simply go away and their hands start gesturing. The students shine when they are able to display and express their passion. So, we must take control as a student and prepare a story, not just a single story, but five stories. Five, I'll of course come down to that point, five stories. So, the point is this: what we are good at, what is our strength in life, where we have demonstrated that strength should come out in the form of a life experience. Remember this, the slide that is you see, people don't remember your name, people will not remember your face, people will not remember your day to day, okay, which college you are from or what you have studied in your course. That doesn't matter to panelists. From 50 students, how will they recall you? How will you have differentiated yourself? If you have given them a story, stories remain in the mind for a long period of time. For years, they may remember a story if it is terrific, if it's a great story. So, we need to start creating stories about life experiences. For example, if I ask you, tell me about a time where you demonstrated thinking on the spot, problem solving. See, we might think, what are you good at? Sir, I'm good at problem solving, I'm good at decision making, I'm good at time management. These are not the words we should be using. Tell me something about yourself. So we will say, I have done my education from XYZ Institute. I am so and so. This is what I like. This is what I have done in my tech fest. I have participated in speaking events. I have participated in, of formulation experience events. So you will say all these normal routine things which are no different from others. But when you share a story, sir, there was a time. Hmm? Listen, I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share an experience in during my college days. So there was an event where all the colleges from other parts of India they used to visit our college, and they used to take part in competitions. So one of the competitions I was in charge of was a automatic robot driven cars, where we had to make a whole stage. So we had recruited a carpenter since the last 2 weeks. Now he had prepared the whole stage and we were bringing it, and it started raining. So it started raining and the whole wood warped. It curved. Now the wood was no longer straight. So how can we have the competition players run their event on this? It was a big problem, and it was on the day of the event. So we had to, me and my colleague, we had to delegate some of our responsibilities to the juniors. We had to tell them, you get this done, we will get the whole stage prepared once again. And with the carpenter, we sat for 3 hours, we prepared a whole new layout, we worked out another plan, we worked out other rules, we changed the game, we made it into an obstacle course. And when we reached the college, we had to be honest and transparent with the students, the players who had come from other colleges. See, this has happened, we are being truthful and honest with you, but we have created this into another fantastic game of an obstacle course. Let us see how your automatic cars navigate through the obstacle course. Now see, this is a story. Hmm? I won't say it's an excellent story, but it is a story that the other person can remember. And through this story, do you realize how many skills I have demonstrated? How many strengths I have communicated? Through this story, I have communicated, I'm able to vary my tone of voice. Through this story, I have communicated, I can manage a team under me. I know how to delegate. Through this story, I have communicated on the spot ability to think and problem solving I have managed. We took quick decisions, we worked things out on the spot. I am honest and transparent. In my communication to the other players, we honestly and transparently communicated, isn't it? So I am an honest person. I'll do right. I will not cheat somebody. All these skills are coming out in the story. That is what we need to do. Hmm? So we need to prepare 5 good stories about the experiences of our life in which it tells the other person of our strengths. Maybe a story where you have organized an event, maybe a story where you helped needy people, by you volunteered in an NGO, maybe a story of failure. One story should be a story of failure, that you failed, you have faced defeat, and from that defeat you overcame it. See, don't have a failure story which just ends with failure. A failure story should never be, okay, I failed, that's it, over. A story should be something that you overcame. You did something after failure and you overcame that failure. You challenged yourself to be better. It, ultimately, a failure story should get converted into a success story. So, prepare a failure story where you ultimately achieved success. It should not be, okay, I only failed. And they have to be real life experiences. You don't need to say, here I learned time management. No, the story itself will communicate to the panel member कि हाँ इस बच्चे को time management आता है. This person knows what time management is. Now, based on your stories, your passion areas will come out, your natural talent will shine, your body language will be different, and the answers will be natural. They will not be mugged up answers. Do you realize this? So these are the methods through which you have to start answering questions. Now, towards the end of our session, we have around 5 to 7 minutes left with us now. Let us cover these parts. A few questions. Let us cover 2 questions on how to answer, and then we will go to the mistakes we make. Now, always remember to read that day's newspaper. If you don't have a physical newspaper, go through the internet. Look at the headlines on the internet. उस दिन क्या क्या चल रहा है? What is happening around the world and in India that day? Especially in your area of interest. If you are a mechanical engineer, read news about the industry, maybe the automation industry. If you are a pharmaceutical student, read news that are relevant to pharma. Be prepared on the day of the interview at least. Tell me something about yourself. How do we answer this? When I ask students, they generally mess around with this answer. They have only 2 things to say. I am so and so person, I belong to so and so institute, and I come from this location. Hmm? I come from Andhra, I come from Hyderabad, I come from Gujarat, I come from Baroda. That is not done. That's a very boring introduction. It's already there on your resume. Hmm? Students go into life stories. Students go into family history. My mom is doing this, my dad is doing this, my sister is doing this. All that is irrelevant. How is that relevant to getting you a job? How is your family background relevant to your job? Hmm? How is your location relevant to your job? Only if you have something unique to say about your location, where you belong to, what is your legacy, and you are able to answer it extremely well, then add location. Otherwise, don't. So, your tell me something about yourself answer should appear in this format. This format means something interesting. Please realize one thing: tell me something about yourself is really an opportunity to open windows of conversation. I have asked many students in this job interview series, who have job interviews going around in September and October. And they all said, the way we answer the first question, my answer in the first question decides what the next question will be. It pretty much decides the road of the conversation that the rest of the interview will take. Hmm? So, that is the point. We need to open windows of conversations. All right. Uh, my answer should be prepared enough. Tell me something about yourself. Answer should be prepared enough that you have elements of your five stories inside it. During my time at my university, I was a part of XYZ events where there were a lot of challenges we faced. We had to coordinate with the team. I was able to hone my skills of working with people and detail orientation. I have balanced my academic career, my studies, and my extracurriculars, which has helped me grow as a rounded person with a strong initiative. Tell me something about yourself is a 1 to 2 minute commercial of your personal highlights. There are three things that should be there in that answer: who you are, a very quick one sentence summary of your experience, education, and listen to this and write it down. Action, verb. Action, verb, verb, verb. Research action verbs. You'll get a huge list on the internet. Using these verb, action verb, you describe your experiences. Who you are. You have to present your best self, your accomplishments, your proof of performance. I received, through my performance in my academics, I received 99.9 percentile certificate in India. I was in the top 0.01 percentile of India. Right? And the third thing you must have in your answer about that particular company: how are you fit for the company? WIIFM. What's in it for me? Yani ki, what's in it for the company? Why should they select you? What's in it for them? So that should reflect in your answer. Now, the last thing that we take care of today, it is 10:20. So it is time to end and invite questions from your end. This is the point. We make this very common mistake. Students whose mother tongue is not English, whose mother tongue is English in India, very few people. So we make this mistake: myself, Dhvani Patel. Yeah, myself and your name. Hmm? Sometimes students say this, as you know from the application, as you know from the resume, my name is Dhvani Patel. No, your introduction should be clear: I am, and your name. My name is, and your name. Never ever make this mistake, my friends. Myself and your name. Never add myself at the start of your introduction. At that moment itself, the panelist will cancel you. Okay, this person doesn't know English. All right. Now, with this, we end today's session and we will continue how to answer questions of your strengths, weaknesses, situations. How companies, why should companies select you? Why, what is your career objective? All these questions we will take a look at in the next session. So, thank you all for being here. And Shrikant, I have stopped sharing my presentation. We can now go to the questions from students. If you would
Thank
be
you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session. Oh, one of the